And I want to bring in someone who knows these issues well and actually, on certain topics, was a Pelosi critic, a Democrat who ran against her for Speaker.
Congressman Ryan announced today that he is challenging Nancy Pelosi to be leader of the House Democrats.
What is your pitch when they say to you, but I'm fine with Nancy, I'm fine with the Pelosi leadership?
I'm not hearing a whole lot of that. I mean, I think people know after last Tuesday we've been doing something terribly wrong.
Tim Ryan, the chief Pelosi foe.
You
That's
think
right.
Nancy Pelosi is more toxic than Donald Trump?
You know what? The honest answer is, in some areas of the country, yes, she is.
In some areas. Interesting. Well, Congressman Tim Ryan joins me right now as part of our special coverage. Good evening, sir.
Gee, thanks, Ari. I appreciate that.
Go on. What do you appreciate? Your words. Nothing unfair about that, right?
Yeah, all true, all true.
And what I'm curious, given everything that's happening here on this monumental level, is how do you think Speaker Pelosi is handling leading your party and dealing with President Trump in this impeachment today?
Absolutely phenomenally. I think she has been so skillful over the last few weeks and months. She is at the absolute top of her game. I think her skillfulness level is that, quite frankly, of Lyndon Johnson or Franklin Roosevelt in their prime. To be able to navigate impeachment as she did. A lot of people were trying to push her into it. She literally waited till the exact right moment when certain things came out about Trump and President Trump and everything else. And as some of our military members of Congress who have military experience and CIA experience and all of that started moving, she picked the exact right time to do that. And then in the last week, to watch this impeachment happen and her completely take away the idea that we were obsessed with impeachment because we passed a trade deal, we passed an appropriations bill, both of those were bipartisan, and we got significant gains in the appropriations process for huge investments into education, into research, into social and emotional learning, into helping our farmers, into technologies. I mean, she ran the table on them and did it in a bipartisan way in the middle of impeachment. I mean, I've never seen anything like it, and kudos to her because she's done a phenomenal job.
Do you think she's been underestimated? And what do you think is the skill that we're seeing? Is it leadership, big picture? Is it political knowledge of her caucus? What do you see?
You know, it's like any finely tuned athlete or musician, or actor or actress. I mean, you just see them at the top of their game. They're functioning at all those levels. It's the big picture level, and then it's all the way through that down into the minutia of negotiating some of these deals. It's really being able to see the whole floor, in a sense, to use a basketball analogy, or see the whole field, because you have to keep an eye on your progressive people, but you also have to keep an eye on those 40 people who gave us the majority, and she was able to do that.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.